Food and Drug Administration and Control, popularly known as NAFDAC, has called for greater collaboration between Nigeria's pharmaceutical manufacturers and universities to foster the development of new medicines and vaccines. Dr. Abdurazik Alegi has advised new mothers to use breast pumps only as a last resort when breastfeeding their babies. Hi listeners, good day and welcome to DDM Health News Update today on our program, Your Health, Your Wealth. I hope you had a very beautiful weekend along. As usual, I often remind you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel, that's Diaspora Digital Media, to get the latest on health, to always know that your health is your wealth. So what do we have today? Despite its potential for protection against unplanned pregnancy and sexually transmitted infections, the use of female condoms remains low among Nigerian women reproductive health. You can imagine that. This was the complaint that reproductive health experts gave. Female condom rather, is the least, the low among all the women contraceptives. A gynecologist noted that the lack of awareness about the products, complaints of reduced sexual pleasure from men, and the associated discomforts were some reasons why women avoided its use. You noted what I just said. So the seasoned maternal health experts further said that the stigma attributed to women seen buying and carrying female condoms discouraged many from using them. In separate interviews with the experts on social media, the experts stated that the female condom was a barrier contraceptive that had no adverse effect on the woman and her sexual partner, adding that it protects the user from STIs, that is the sexual transmitted infections, and also pregnancy. So anyone can use it, being it a married woman. Yes. Because we can see most of our women today, their child might be, you can see, a year old, and yet they're even pregnant. Sometimes 8 months, and they're pregnant. Oh my goodness. The maternal health experts called for improved accessibility, education, and promotion to boost adoption. According to the National Demographic Health Survey 2013, female condoms were among the least known modern method of contraceptive. The least, I said. The report further revealed that condom was a common contraceptive used in the country. Many women knew of and bought the male condoms and gave them to their partners before sexual intercourse. Wherever you go today, it's only male condom that you see. It's rare to see female condom because many people have not even sized it. Talk more of making use of it. Yeah. If you have, make your comments, drop your comments on the comment section. Let's see. Furthermore, it was also shown that only a few women knew about the availability and use of female condoms. You might have seen it, but the question, have you made use of it? A public health specialist at Pathfinder International stated that while female condoms were available and free in health centers, many women do not request them, leaving them unused and locked in the hospital's drawer. Before you know it, it will get expired. Yes. A recent study on awareness and utilization of female condoms among street youths in Ibadan showed that while 47.9% have heard of female condom, only 4.3% have ever used one. 4.3 out of 47.9%. Very poor. Commenting on the issue, a professor of obstetrics and gynecology at the University of Ibadan, Oyo State, Chris Amiku, attributed the low use of female condoms to the complaints of women about discomfort and the limitation in sexual positions. Yeah. He added that many men were reluctant to have sex with a partner using a female condom, especially in casual or transactional sexual intercourse. Referring to studies conducted on the use of female condoms, the reproductive health specialist stated that at its introduction, women had difficulty accepting the product. Yes. They don't note that the stigma and accusation of promiscuity faced by women seen with condoms further discourage their use. Most women say it's not pleasurable. It slips off, and men are not predisposed to use it or in using it. Yeah, these are some of the complaints we get. So a woman can wear a female condom and the man says it's uncomfortable. You can imagine that. It also limits sexual positions. Maybe all these doggy styles, missionary styles, so many of them. And the man will tell you, my dear, with this condom, you can't position yourself this way. So it gets limits to some sexual positions. So making it less preferred compared to male condom. Male condoms, they'll just put it on and start whatever they want to do. But a female condom is inserted into the vagina, and the secretions that comes from the female during sex and other things that makes sex more pleasurable are not there. Yeah. So its use is more common among people who know each other very well and would like to prevent pregnancy. But when it comes to the occasional sex for pleasure, they won't want to use the female condom. Yes, they won't. Because they see it as a pleasure. That the pleasure will not be there when the condom is being put on. Well, Amiku also further noted that the female condom was a barrier contraceptive that had an advantage over other female contraceptives because it prevented pregnancy and protected against sexual transmitted infections. They don't emphasize that's why female condoms have no side effects. They remain poorly accepted and are often difficult to find in many areas compared to male condom, which is true. It's rare that you go to a pharmacy or chemist or even hospital and request for female condom and you get it. It's very rare, unlike the male condom. Even male condom has different products this time around. So, Amico also further noted that despite the low use and acceptance, older women, especially those who engage in pleasure sex without the risk of getting pregnant or STIs, use female condoms. Yeah, is it the safest among all the contraceptives? Amico stressed the need for continued awareness and improved accessibility, stating that female condoms were difficult to find. He also proposed its availability through vending machines and more widespread distribution. The gynecologist further advocated greater emphasis on accessibility and education to encourage adoption, especially as female condoms provide reliable protection against both unwanted pregnancies and infections like HIV. Also, a consultant obstetric gynecologist, that is Dr. Joseph Akinde, stated that poor awareness was responsible for the low usage of female condoms in Nigeria. Yeah, it's rare to find here in Nigeria. He further attributed the low adoption to the lack of understanding among many women about the availability and reliability of female condoms in preventing pregnancies and STIs. Gynecology also noted that the limited supply of the female condom in the country could be a factor hindering its acceptance and use. Well, I think I agree with that. Think about it. Whereby is rare to find. How do you think people start using it? Of course, it's not available, so people will not seek for it. So speaking on the way out, Akinde said, there is a need to popularize and advocate for its use. It is beneficial as it prevents STIs and has no adverse effects on the man or woman. You can imagine that. Unlike the male condom, where people complain of a lack of skin-to-skin contact, is reliable, but it has to be worn by the woman before the sexual act. Yeah. Unlike the male condom, even the male condom self is not even safe. Yes. If you're having sex out of marriage, male can even pregnant you using despite putting on the male condom. Yes. You might ask how. Male condom, it's not safe. They might even use a pin to pin it off in order to allow the semen to flow through. Or maybe at the point of withdrawal, the sperm might even enter and the person gets pregnant or even disease. Yes. So there is a need for more awareness of its advantage because the female condom truly has a lot of advantages. Well, next, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, popularly known as NAFDAC, has called for greater collaboration between Nigeria's pharmaceutical manufacturers and universities to foster the development of new medicines and vaccines. NAFDAC's Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, said this in a statement issued by the agency's media consultant, that is Olusayo Akintola in Abuja, on Sunday. She emphasized the message during the 38th edition of the Prof. Victor Olufemi Marcus Memorial Lecture, organized by the Faculty of Pharmacy at Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife in Osun State. Adeyeye stressed that collaboration between academia and the pharmaceutical industries was crucial for reducing Nigerians' over-reliance on imported medical products. So she applauded President Bola Tinubu's recent ban on importing readily available products as a step towards boosting local industry growth. She further urged universities to partner with the pharmaceutical sector in research and development, noting that such collaborations would help address specific healthcare needs. Also speaking, Adeyeye also pointed out that universities were well positioned to contribute by developing skills, transferring knowledge, and fostering innovations. The partnership, she said, would stimulate the local economy, reduce unemployment, and increase the nation's gross domestic product. In addition, Mrs. Adeyeye discussed NAFDAC's 5+5 regulatory directive, which mandated that imported pharmaceutical products, which were also locally produced, must be manufactured locally after 5 years of importation. This initiative has contributed to the growth of the Nigerian pharmaceutical industry, with 30% of new or revitalized local manufacturing companies resulting from it. You can imagine. She emphasized the importance of local innovation of achieving self-sufficiency in healthcare, especially following lessons from the COVID-19 pandemic and global business changes. NAFDAC plans to initiate a pilot R&D collaboration program involving Nigerian universities and pharmaceutical manufacturers to further enhance local production and research capabilities. Wonderful. So please, our advice to the universities is to collaborate with the pharmaceuticals. Next, a consultant pediatrician at the Federal Teaching Hospital, Katsina, that is Katsina State, Dr. Abdurazik Alegi, has advised new mothers to use breast pumps only as a last resort when breastfeeding their babies. Furthermore, the child care experts stress that exclusive breastfeeding remains the best option for newborns and should be prioritized over formula feeding or other methods of milk extraction. According to the expert, breast pumps should only be introduced after all efforts to directly breastfeed or manually express milk have proven ineffective. I'm sure you're getting what I'm saying. That breast pumps should only be introduced after all efforts to directly breastfeed or manually express milk have proven ineffective. So please, breastfeeding mothers should take note of this. Now, if the mother cannot express this, despite all the intervention, we still will not encourage them to go for baby formula. Yes. So at that level, that's when breast pumps comes in handy to help the mother pump the breast milk out. You understand how the breast pumps comes in. Except that breast pump should stay aside. The United Nations Children's Fund advocates exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months, meaning the baby receives only breast milk without any other food or fluids, be it water or any other thing. So, UNICEF recommends several strategies to improve breastfeeding, including immediate skin-to-skin contact after birth, initiating breastfeeding as soon as possible, and practicing rooming in, that is 24/7 with the baby. So, it's also encouraged mothers to avoid the use of feeding bottles, teats, or pacifiers, especially during the first 6 months, as they can interfere with breastfeeding. Of course. Allige, however, cautioned that mothers must maintain strict hygiene while using breast pumps to avoid contamination of the expressed milk. Of course. So what is most important is that while the mother is using the breast pump, all the concepts of hygiene must be maintained. Everything must be clean. And as the mother is using the breast pump, it's also advised that in between, while expressing the milk, she should still be putting the baby to the breast. Yes, that doesn't mean because you're using the breast pump, you won't breastfeed your baby with your breast. No. Also speaking, the pediatrician explained that a baby's natural suckling is the most effective way to stimulate milk production, as it activates key hormones responsible for lactation. Of course, because the more your baby suck your breast, the more the breast milk comes out. It's the suckling that stimulates lactic production. That is the prolactin production. And then milk lets down. The more the baby sucks, the more the prolactin production increases and the more the milk comes out. Enjoyment. If the child is not suckling properly, that might cause some mothers to produce very little milk. Check. If you're a breastfeeding mother, I'm sure you must have had such experience. If the milk production reduces, even the breast pumps may not even work. Yes. Also speaking, Allige urged new mothers to view the breast pump only as a support tool, not a primary feeding method. So, breast pump shouldn't be the primary thing. Rather, your breast should be the primary thing. So please, mothers, try as very as possible to often breastfeed your babies with your breast. You know, breast is a delicious milk. That is why even men don't even resist that. Talk more of your little baby. So please, don't hesitate to breastfeed your little baby often and on. Okay? All right, friends. With this, we come to the end of today's program on your health, your world. Don't forget to click on the like button, share, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is Diaspora Digital Media to get the latest on your health. Until next time, I remain Nigerian. Michaeline Izini. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.